The best division in football just became even better with the NFL draft. But who in this division improved their chances of winning the best division in the NFL with players they took in the NFL draft? The San Francisco 49ers
select Trey Lance. This guy is electric.
Lance cuts it up. He has the first down and more. Lowers the shoulder. Trey Lance. Touchdown!
The Arizona Cardinals.
David Collins, linebacker, Tulsa.
Pratt gonna throw. Pratt pressure. It is picked off by David Collins.
The Seattle Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks select Dwayne Eskerage.
Eskerage off to the races. There goes number 1.
He's like the gingerbread man. He's gone.
Or the Los Angeles Rams.
Los Angeles Rams select
Tutu Atwell for a touchdown.
In stride, caught, Tutu Atwell.
And there's Tutu Atwell for a touchdown.
From the 3rd overall pick to the last pick in the draft, every single player picked can have a huge impact on these teams as they try to win the best division in football. If you've not already seen my last video on who will win the NFC West, make sure to watch it after you finish this one, or go watch it now to see my previous views on these teams and who I thought was going to win the division before the draft. Alright guys, we obviously have to start with the team that drafted 3rd overall, the San Francisco 49ers. And to be real honest, drafting Trey Lance to me made them even more of a wild card. More potential, but still have no idea if they're going to stay healthy or if Trey Lance, who only started 17 games in college, will be able to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Or since the 49ers kept Jimmy Garoppolo and have told him he can be the starter, he just has to win the job, we have no idea what Trey Lance will be doing this year. But what I can tell you is the 49ers' incredible offensive run game just got even better and way more terrifying when they drafted Trey Sermon out of The Ohio State, who in my opinion, outside Trey Lance, could be the most immediate impact player on any of these teams in the NFC West. Because the 49ers have a ferocious run game without a real number 1 back. And yes, Mostert's a good running back, but he's more of a speedster and is not a number 1. And with Trey Sermon getting sufficient snaps, I believe he could easily get 1,000 yards in his rookie season with that insane 49ers offensive line. And honestly, out of all the teams in the NFC West, the 49ers improved by far the most in the draft. So that could really help them win this insane division. The next team is the Los Angeles Rams, and as we all know, they didn't have a 1st round pick because they traded it to the Jacksonville Jaguars for Jalen Ramsey. So with their 1st pick in the 2nd round, they took the fastest player in the draft, Tutu Atwell, who has been clocked running a 4.27 40-yard dash, as fast as Henry Ruggs. The biggest concern is he's also been weighed in at 148 pounds, which could lead to some problems down the road. But all in all, I think it's a very good pick because you complement your weapons very well. You now have 2 route runners, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and 2 speedsters and deep threats, Deshaun Jackson and now Tutu Atwell, which is plenty of weapons for Matthew Stafford to work with. And I think the Rams will stay right where they are, just a super loaded team and ready to compete for this division. The 3rd team is the Seattle Seahawks, the reigning champs of the NFC West. And the Seahawks, just like the Rams, did not have a 1st round pick because of the Jamal Adams trade. So with their 1st pick in the 2nd round, they took Dwayne Eskerage, one of the top special teams players in the country, who averaged the most yards per game in all of college, having 700 receiving yards and 500 return yards in only 6 games in 2020. He also ran a 4.38 40-yard dash, but has been clocked much faster on different days. Which for a 3rd option wide receiver behind Metcalf and Lockett, I'm sure he'll be dominating the 3rd corner on the opposing teams. So this is a great draft choice for the Seahawks to make the offense even more explosive. And even though the Hawks had 3 draft picks, the lowest in the league, they still got super good value at every position that they needed, and they filled up all their needs. So to me, it's just as good as any other draft in the division. And Eskerage will add another dimension to the offense. So the Seahawks are still up at the top with the rest at this division. And the last team, the Arizona Cardinals. And yes, before we go into this, I don't hate the Cardinals. But when you're drafting a position like linebacker that high in the draft 2 years in a row, it's pretty clear one of them is a bust. And as of right now, Isaiah Simmons is a pretty clear draft bust. And then you go out and you draft another linebacker. If he's not Bobby Wagner or Luke Kuechly, it's not worth drafting him 16th overall. Especially when you have Akeem Hicks, who's a very solid starter. It just doesn't make any sense at all. But they did nail their second round pick. Rondale Moore is a beast and honestly another super solid number 3 wide receiver in this division. And drafting Marco Wilson is also a good pick. It fills another need. So the only problem I have with their draft is Zaven Collins, who is pretty slow for a linebacker. He ran a 4.65 40-yard dash compared to a Bobby Wagner who ran a 4.46 40. And Zaven Collins is just, his stats are completely underwhelming and just not that impressive. So the Cardinals, to me, still have a lot to do to be favorites in the division. It doesn't mean they can't win it, but still a super loaded team that should make the playoffs. Alright, for the moment of truth, who will win this division? And what has changed because of the draft? And just like last time, I'm not going to just choose a winner. It would seem ignorant and somewhat biased. So I'll give you guys who I think has the most and least chance and all in between to win this division. And we're going to start with the team that has the least chance to win the division, the Cardinals. Just seems like a wasted first round pick 2 years in a row. And unless one of them is Bobby Wagner or Luke Kuechly, they're just not going to have a huge impact on the team. So I give the Cardinals an 18% chance to win the division. Next is the 49ers, who to me is the most improved team by far. Trey Lance gives the quarterback position depth, so if Jimmy G gets injured again like he has in the recent years, then Trey Lance should at least be decent, which is all that ferocious defense and run game needs to win a lot of games. I also think they have the best coaching staff in the division to help that young quarterback, and then Trey Sermon will just be a dominant runner and the number 1 back that the 49ers have not had. So I give them a 28% chance to win this division. It also helps that they have the easiest schedule in the NFC West as well. The next team is the Los Angeles Rams, who made their offense plenty more explosive with Tutu Atwell. But their defense has lost a ton of depth in the defensive coordinator. The Rams also have the hardest schedule in the NFC West in 2021, so I have to give them a 26% chance to win the division. And the last team, the Seattle Seahawks, to me did everything they needed to improve their O-line, to get proven players, to get a proven young tight end that made their offense so much more consistent. And their special teams is increasingly more explosive with their draft pick, and having the best quarterback in the division helps a ton. So I give them a 28% chance to win the division. So I give the Cardinals an 18% chance to win the division, the Rams a 26% chance, the Seahawks and Niners a 28% chance. And the reason the Rams have less than the others is because they have the hardest schedule in the division, and the Seahawks have a better quarterback, and the Niners have better coaching. And the Cardinals are just not proven. The coach and quarterback have never had a winning record, and they drafted a linebacker 2 years in a row, and both seem pretty disappointing. But to be honest, all 4 of these teams could easily be the best in football. So there are my thoughts on the NFC West. After the draft, thanks for watching. Subscribe for weekly NFL content just like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next upload. Until next time.